Hello, everybody, and welcome back again to another night at the pigsty. Am I unmuted? I am unmuted. Ricardo, as you have seen, it is not actually Darth. Ricardo was thinking earlier you might be Darth. But no, this is Wondercrab. Wondercrab has reached out, or did try to reach out to me on my Discord. He did come in, and as text has its limitations, I think he was trying to convey something badly. And shout out to Bill in the chat. Bill just was like, no, fuck that, gone, just banned, gone, out the fuck. So Wondercrab reached out to me. We've had a wee chat maybe on Discord, and as always, the best way to get to know anyone is to have a chat with them. So Crabby, I think is we're going to go with for shorthand. Let everybody know who you are. You do have a channel. I will link it in the chat. And yeah, go on ahead, man. Tell people who you are, where you're from, what the crack is.
Wonderful. Thanks for having me again. My name is Wondercrab. My channel is called Wondercrab, the Crabcast. We are a genreless. We have a lot of fun at the Crabcast. We're a small team. But I ran into you. I found you from a Darth Dawkins debate. An Asshole 104 debate. That was done. I had some critique. I left a seething comment and did not expect you to reach out. And I gotta say, I find it commendable that you reached out. You're having me on the show, and that's not what I was expecting. So thank you again.
I do try and comment under as many as possible, unless the comment is very bad. I've had a few complained about having music in the background of a few things like this. You're not even worth my time, but someone who actually is going to give critique and actually give some feedback. Yeah, you know, if you're willing to have a conversation, we're willing to have a conversation. And yeah, don't worry about it, Bill. I look back at it. He explained himself really badly. You did exactly what was necessary. So, yeah, starting on that with the Discord mention. You sort of come in and you were mentioning Asshole 104 and his approach to conversation, the way he... would I be saying that you respect his script, or you respect the way he can shut people down without respecting the man? But you know, there is an awful lot of work that's went into his script. There is an awful lot of work that he does to maintain, to keep people on track and things like that. So there is some respect for what he can do. Not the man. But if you would like to give your side, then Wondercrab.
Well, as far as cutting people off, I'm not a big fan. Conduct-wise or personality-wise, I think I don't really have any notes whatsoever, pro or against. But I would say that the argument is self-coherent, and I respect any man that can reliably and consistently defend his position from people all over the spectrum. I mean, he talks to a bunch of people, and yes, like, there is a degree of using muting and interrupting that goes on. But if you look at just foundationally, he does, on almost every interaction, he does give the person a chance to defend themselves and a chance to critique his argument, which is, I mean, not everybody does this. And he's one of those people that really puts himself out there in the public to be interacted with. So all things
I would say that,
kind of generally...
now, if I can critique that, I would say that he puts himself out there. If I can check the volume, I had him turned up in StreamYards. I have him turned down now. If you can let me know about the volume level. Okay, stop it. It wasn't that bad, Robbie. Okay, I'm leaving it alone now. Is the audio okay now? I would say that Darth puts himself out there not to be critiqued, but to get attention. He's more of a narcissist than he would be a debater, so to speak, if you understand what I mean. He puts himself out there because, you know, he got his attention in Discord. He's now getting boring. People have realised he's a dose, so he's been putting himself more so on YouTube now to try and get attention because he loves the attention. I don't honestly think his argument is sound either. He does have a script that he sticks to, and I would say his script, if stuck to, does have an ending where he wins, you know. But I wouldn't think that it would prove that his God exists. Now, if we can, for the audience, you did say that you're not a theist, no?
Oh, I'm a theist. I'm
not a Christian. You're a Neoplatonist.
Correct. That is correct. Not strictly Christian, although I'm sympathetic, I suppose.
Yeah. For the audience, if anyone who doesn't know, do you want to give your definition of a Neoplatonist?
Neoplatonism refers to the works of Plotinus and some ancient Greek philosophy that goes back. It could date back all the way past pre-dynastic Egypt, but essentially, uh, I mean, Darth Dawkins' argument is very similar to earlier Gnostic works, earlier reason, and like there's a long link. Darth Dawkins is not the first to make this critique, and so I come from kind of a strange background. If anybody's interested, you can't really find a lot of good information about it online, but I would recommend reading the book. I'll give a shout out to my guy, John Scotus Erigena, John the Scot. His work is called the Paraphesian, the Four Divisions of Nature. And this is probably the best book. It's the best book.
Something doing a wee bit of quick refreshers on Neoplatonist, obviously something I'd heard of before, but not something I'd put an awful lot of thought into. And looking just today on Wikipedia during my lunch today, it's the idea of, to give sort of a personification of what it's about is with, there's not necessarily God, but there's what's referred to as the One.
Yeah. Yes.
Sort of like not necessarily an entity, but more so. How would you describe it?
Well, this is what I came sort of to talk about, if I may. I don't really believe in atheism, and that's not to say that I don't agree with the principles of atheism. I don't believe that there are such things as atheists. I think that the more you study science and religion, the more you realize that they're coming towards, at many points, the same conclusion. And if we are to, at the end of the day, right, I'm trying to pick which argument I want to go with here, but at the end of the day, your definitions of ontological or epistemological phenomena are going to be the same as Darth Dawkins on some level. And what I mean by this specifically...
Yeah, could you give an example of that, where his definition of something in the science field is exactly the same as our definition of that, and that he derived it from his religion?
Yeah, so how about eternality? I don't know what I want to get into your ontology. First off, I want to ask you what you think about the Big Bang, but eternality is something that is commonly ascribed by the field of quantum mechanics and quantum physics.
Something being eternal.
The universe being eternal.
But we don't know. There is thoughts on that. There is thoughts on whether the universe is eternal, depending on your definition of, is there something before time? There's an awful lot of routes to go down, but a lot of physicists will put their hands up and say, when you get to it, they don't know. The difference with Darth Dawkins is he will come up and say, I do know.
Well, if you don't mind, I don't want to talk about the guy behind his back. And as much as he is entertaining, giving, like you say, he loves attention. So maybe we should just put him to the side for a second.
Yes.
And I want to know about your ontological foundation. Do you think that the universe is eternal, or would you say, like the scientists, that you do not know?
Well, I have my thoughts, and I have, I wouldn't like, if I can, before we move forward, can you give what you would consider, as you say, you have problems with, there is no atheists. Could you give a definition of what you would consider that? Then are you going to go down the route where an atheist is someone who definitively says that there is no God?
Well, this all ties into what the definition of God is at the end of the day. What the atheist is saying, the atheist is not saying that the state of nothing actually exists, or that things can come from nothing, which is sort of the idea of atheism. Nobody's actually claiming that. If you logically and sort of axiomatically, if you boil down everything you believe, you have to be incredibly dishonest to believe actually that things can come from nothing. Like
No, well,
Well,
you're being a philosophical person, mentioning all these words as you're using and stuff. You are a philosophical person, so I assume that you were talking about philosophical nothing.
say again, sorry.
I assume when you use the word nothing and you say that it is impossible, that you're talking about philosophical nothing and not scientific nothing. Scientific nothing is more of a colloquial term. There is always going to be fields moving in the backgrounds and things like that. There is a couple of videos out there from people in the community I could point you in the direction of, showing the difference between philosophical nothing and scientific nothing. Scientific nothing is more of a colloquial term. We're not actually saying that there is nothing. We have never had any evidence of philosophical nothing.
Well, exactly, but that's my point. The state of nothing is a contradiction.
It's a bad choice of words. Whenever scientists say
end of the
nothing, they don't actually mean absolutely nothing. Because
Right, but at the end of the day, you're still implying a state of causality. You're still implying that this eternality, whatever cycle of this eternality you're within, whether it's the Big Bang or the universe is just infinite in that it keeps creating hydrogen infinitely, you're still depending on a causal or dependent factor, which is what Darth Dawkins refers to as God. So my point is that at the end of the day, you can say that you don't believe in God, but you believe in the same attributes.
no, he's right. No, the fact that he's naming it God is the same as what I had on this guy before, and he fucking tried to do the same thing with gravity, man. And just because it's got a different, we would say, and I say we, as someone who would believe in science and all that there sort of background, that when we mention nothing, we're not talking about absolute nothing, right? Now, I'm just going to make an example. We have no evidence to show this as I move forward. Everything is based mainly in mathematics and theoretical cosmology and stuff like that. This is just one idea that's out there that I quite like. And, there's the idea of nothing, as we say, but there's always fields moving around. Particles can jump in and out of existence provided that they disappear under the Planck time. Energy...
Sorry. I think that's ridiculous what you just said.
I may be incorrect in the exact specifics of it. I did do a disclaimer at the very start of that. I am not a physicist. This is just what I've read and things. Yes.
To get into that, that's kind of an interesting discussion to have. I'm a big
virtual particles and things like that, and all that route have been proven in mathematics. There is more evidence to show that they are possible than God is possible. All of this that what you just laughed at, and these things that we're laughing at, is physics that we base our science on.
They're a model, but the model is theoretical. The scientists aren't claiming that model is actual.
No, we're not claiming that model is actual. As I said, everybody, you get to the point, quantum physics breakdown.
Well, you said they have more evidence for that than God. That wouldn't be true because the model is not actual. It's not evidence-based. It's like you say, it's mathematical.
Now you're going to say, yes, mathematical, right? Maths has never been proven to be wrong.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Okay.
But math
has never been proven to be wrong. And what we're doing is, when I say the statement, we have more evidence to show that, I will rephrase it then, and I can say, based on what we know already, we have more inference towards this than we do towards God. Does that statement suit you better?
Well, I wouldn't agree with it if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, but I'm trying to say that's, we don't maybe necessarily have evidence for theoretical things, but we can infer that more so than God.
I don't think you can.
Why?
Well, all of those, first off, those are based upon experimental data, and then axiomatically they're applying this model to that data. So, for example, the photon, if we're talking about having evidence, right?
Mm-hmm.
The photon is a mathematical concept. The photon was invented to balance out mathematical equations. It's a quantification of a field. It's making the number one, or reducing it to a discrete quantity, right? It's not an actual representation of the phenomena.
It's moving through the field. Yeah, I wouldn't use the word invented. It is badly chosen in my opinion, but Yes. It is a description of something that we use to describe the world around us.
Correct. It's a description. So when you say that math is true, or at least that it hasn't been proved false, math cannot be true or false because math is a model. It's
Math
like saying,
you can get proofs. Maths is the only thing that you can actually prove something in. You can also disprove in math. It is very, very good.
you're talking about mathematical proofs, not philosophical ones.
Yes, I am. But this gives strength to the fact that it.
Mathematical proofs are analogous to Sudoku. They're not anything to do with philosophy. Mathematical proofs themselves depend on axioms. So the interpretation is up to you.
I think we're falling back in definitions again, and it's a problem with definitions. So, long story short, I'm saying science did all this. We have no proof of this because it's theoretical. And you're saying that Darth is going down the same route. The only difference is when we say, I don't know, it's all theoretical. Darth says God, so we should expect us to agree on that.
Well, there's a lot there to unpack.
This is why I had a conversation with Knock the other day, and I said philosophy is great for trying to define to yourself, but it does not help a conversation. It ends up colluded in definitions.
So let's get into your ontology a bit, if you don't mind. What
Knock
do you
out
think
questions, man. Knock out questions.
Not good?
No, knock out questions. Feel free to knock out a few questions. I just realized
Yes,
the
sir.
chat was over the top of my fucking face, so there's that fixed. Right.
So what is up with the Big Bang? What comes before the Big Bang? What instantiates the Big Bang?
Well, the Big Bang is... Now, this is all my opinion. And again, I am not a physicist. This is all from what I believe, to the point where if I've read 10 theories, this is the one that I like the best. So again, I don't know. But if you're asking me what I like the best out of the theories that's out there...
Or I could be more specific, actually.
well,
if
I
you don't
can't
mind.
guarantee anything, and you can't say to me, what do I think of the Big Bang, and what I say is law, because I'm just a fucking Egypt in Northern Ireland.
Do you think that the Big Bang is dependent? Does something come before? Does something precede the Big Bang?
Right, well, you're talking about time then. Cider,
Well, we
yes,
can
there
get
will be an
into time.
after show, Cider. He's looking forward to it. Give me a knock on Discord, I'll send you the link.
Bring it on, guy.
Right, you're talking about time. So did time exist before the Big Bang, and time that we know it as, then no.
We can get into time because that is a whole subject.
Right,
So-
well, I'm going to do a real small one. This is fun that I like having with people, right? And we're going to bring it in, tie it in with the question that you're having. Right, so did something exist before time? Did something exist before Did something exist before the Big Bang? Well, that's us in reference to time. Okay? No, please let me finish, Wondercrab. That's in reference to time. Then you have to get into your definition of time. If everything in the universe, including all atoms, stood still and didn't move for a definitive period of time, does not exist when nothing moves. So if a universe before us, like Steve Carroll has posited, a universe before us expanded like ours is doing now, and it ends up at a heat death where there is absolutely nothing left, then time technically stops because nothing is moving, there is nothing there. Then you have your fluctuations in what scientists refer to as nothing in the fields. Something small starts, and it's a possibility for the Big Bang, which is badly named. Inflation is better.
What is the alternative to something preceding the Big Bang? No matter what that state is there an alternative to the Big Bang being dependent?
You could go down the route, which I know people who like the Big Bang, the Big Crush. So you could say that, right before the Big Bang, there was time running in reverse. That is another possibility. Again, I'm not a physicist.
Sure, but that is still dependent. Are you saying that the Big Bang do you agree with me that the Big Bang has to be dependent on some state? Or are you saying that the Big Bang can manifest itself?
Again, you're using the Big Bang as a starting point.
Yeah, that is what the materialist starting point is.
That's a name for a theory of a description of something that we have that we can't actually go back and tell. We can only tell what the universe was like straight after it begins. Like,
well, I don't even necessarily believe in the Big Bang. I don't think the burden of proof has been met. But since this is the materialist starting point, since this is what science does, right? I believe that the burden of proof is on the skeptic.
Well, again, man, I'm going to put my hand up, and I can only say that we can look back as far as the CBR or the few, that specific time. What is it? 1 times 10 to the power of 54 seconds after the Big Bang, whatever the fuck it is. I can't tell you what happened before that because I don't know.
Right, but I'm not talking about from an observer perspective. I'm talking about philosophically. Does it make sense to you that the Big Bang happened on its own and that this is the beginning, or do you agree with me that something has to come before, something precedes or causes the Big Bang? The Big Bang doesn't just happen, correct? Something doesn't come from nothing, or is that your actual proposition?
Well, you're using philosophical nothing, talking about science terms. You can't conflate terms again. You're going to talk about philosophical nothing and say it can't and nothing can exist because it's nothing. And then you're going to ask me to describe science, where when we use that term nothing and I use it in my sentence, it's a completely different thing. As I said from the start there, man, when we were talking about this, I'm not a physicist. I only have what I have, and a theory that I like. That's the way it works. We don't have actual evidence for it. And as I described, the theory that I proceed to, what's the pointer for? Am I using theory wrong?
You don't have actual evidence for it.
No, we don't have evidence for it because we don't have the very, very start. That does not necessarily mean God, though.
Well, what does it mean?
Well, I'm going to define God as particles inside a field that fluctuate and expand into a universe. So yes, I will agree with you that God started the universe if we use that definition.
Okay. Well, do you have anybody else?
Do I have anybody else what?
Well, you just conceded.
No, I didn't concede. I said if we use the... No, I didn't concede.
If you agree that a state of energy...
Man, I'm agreeing to the fact... No, let me make a clarification now. I am agreeing to the fact that you could name something anything you want. Words are descriptors. Words are descriptors. And if you define... Right, if you define God, what we use is the Big Bang, then you can say it's the same thing.
Yes.
Right.
You're getting it.
Okay, I understand where you're coming from. I understand that from the start. I did a short version whenever I said what Darth was trying to put across. I understand what you're trying to do.
Okay, but my premise is that you share the same attributes with science. You support that the universe has those same attributes, which are eternal, foundational.
I'm not saying they're the same. No, I'm not attributing that the God and the universe have the same attributes. I am saying that we can name anything we want. If I named a rose a ball of shit and you named a rose named it a rose, it's still what it is. It's just named something different. The fact that a ball of shit has more power with it. No.
You're making a point. This is why atheism does not exist. You can call it atheism if you want, but you don't actually believe that the universe comes from nothing. You believe that the universe is dependent on a state of eternality. And non-physicality, as you said. No,
I didn't say non-physicality. I didn't say non-physicality. I said particles popping in and out of existence is a possible way.
Right.
Particles are physical.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry, you are right.
Particles are physical. Now, as I said, with philosophical nothing and science nothing, their things can be popping in and out of existence. We cannot now look at an atom and tell you which one is going to radioactively decay. We can't tell you which part of that atom, of that material, is going to radioactively decay. There is more than likely a reason for it. Because we cannot discern it, doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I am saying to you now, at our level of science, because again, I'm going to reinforce, we don't know. At our level of science now, we have theories in theoretical cosmology which lead us down the routes of this, that, and the other to where the Big Bang is the popular one and all of that. But it doesn't mean that 150 to 200 years down the line, when we figure out quantum gravity, that we now find a reason. We tie everything together and we've got all of this. And it's all based in science. Never in the existence of history ever has something that people thought had a scientific root been disproven by God. It's always been the opposite way.
That's using a false threshold that God is going to use physical and not ontological rational reasoning. Another thing you said is that atoms decaying. We cannot predict this.
No, we can't predict which atom in a material is going to be the next one to radioactively decay.
Correct. That it is unintelligible, and yet it's necessary that this explanation exists. This is my argument for God. You can't tell why they decay, but their decay is dependent on processes that precede the existence of atoms.
You're basically just, man, if I can, you're doing a real and long convoluted route of the God of the gaps. Because we don't know, it must be God. That's just basically what this is going to boil down to.
Well, are you claiming that you know? I mean, your claim isn't that you know. Your claim is that it's all sort of.
My claim is that I don't know.
Yeah,
that doesn't mean necessarily God. You can't define God as I don't know.
Well, no, not for you.
Can I ask a question? You're constantly looking in your computer? Are you looking up your notes or something like that, or can I have a conversation with you and you not be on your computer?
Oh yeah, I'll stay off that. I'm doing a flow chart is what I'm doing, because I'm gonna go on. I'm gonna review this. I've just got my notes here. I'm looking at.
Yeah, well, you can always look it back. You can always watch the video back and take notes and do your flow chart then. Conversation, man.
Yes.
As I did say in the description, one thing I did find that was funny, which was what you wanted, was you want to try to improve your rhetoric. Why did you use that word rhetoric?
Well, because ultimately I'm a salesman, sir. Ultimately I'm a man of the people, and I've got to be a little bit more cunning than I am. And so the best way is practice. I've come on the pigsty. I've come on the pigsty. And we're flow charts.
No, I'm enjoying it. It's been fun. Yeah. But that's what I'm basically saying, man, is this is going to boil down to the God of the gaps.
That's fine, but you already acknowledged that the world to you is chance. You don't.
The world to me is what? Sorry, you cut out there. The world to me is
what?
So
the world to you, your model, at least according to some of the past conversations I've heard you say, and from what I can tell, is that we live in a chance universe, that we do not have a functional theory of knowledge. And that is sort of the inverse of what Darth would say.
Well, if you've watched as well, man, you would have seen that I spent a good 10 years as a big proponent of the Akashic field. You know, that was something, even through my science, that I thought was possible.
Do you? I mean, my point here. I came with.
No, but would you not agree? Would you not agree with me that if you know, do you know anything about the Akashic field?
The Akashic faith.
The Akashic field. It's the idea of infinite knowledge and infinite energy and all that. Is sort of a bit with spiritual woo and stuff like that. Have you ever heard of the Akashic field before? It is very similar to Neoplatonism. It's very similar to Neoplatonism.
Yeah, is this Rudolf Steiner? What is this? Akashic Records.
I'm not too sure on names, but I'm not great with that, man. It's a fault that I have. I read and don't remember authors and stuff. But the idea, the basic premise of it is that there is not an entity, but a one, so to speak, a one giant consciousness, one thing that started it all. It's very similar to Neoplatonism. It obviously is not the same, but there is similarities between it. And I was a proponent of that for 10 years as a science person, as someone who believed in science, because I thought and leant towards that as a possibility. Since then, I have changed my mind. I did not know for a fact then. It is something that I leant against. I do not know now, but I don't lean against that.
Well, I came here with a pretty ballsy claim that atheism itself does not exist. That you share the same attributes, principle of what you're calling the one. Um,
Again, we're
you
just
could
going
read
down
that.
definitional routes, man. And if we're going to go down definitional routes, right, what you're defining and what I'm defining, you're putting together and saying that atheism doesn't exist because of your definition and my definition are the same. Right. Well, if you're going to go down the definitional route, you have to accept the other person's definition. Now, I, in a long, dragged out conversation, don't like to use the word atheist. You know, I prefer to describe myself as an agnostic. Dave makes me fucking use atheist, agnostic, or atheist. It does in society have power to go with it and what we're trying to do here, and there's reasons behind it. But I'm one of them lazy fuckers that sits in the fence. You know, I've seen no evidence of God, but I am not going to make the statement that I know for a fact that God does not exist.
Oh, so you are agnostic. Okay. Well,
I did say that in the text in Discord, atheist / agnostic. You said that you knew that. There's many different versions of atheist. There's many different definitions of atheist. But using a short, not going to go down that convoluted route, I would be agnostic. I can't prove either way. There's always a possibility. I am open to the possibilities of anything. That's why I call myself a skeptic. I am more than willing to change my mind if I've been proven wrong. But what I think we're coming down to here is just an argument over definitions. You're trying to define what I would say as God, where we would use definitions. We're convoluting between nothing and nothing. And I am not a rock, Ricardo. Fuck off. But yeah, I think that's where we're at.
well, I'm pretty happy with how this has gone because it doesn't sound like you're actually contradicting much of what I'm saying. If you want to make a claim that you have another definition for eternal, foundational, unmoved, I can give there's a list of like the best one actually is what Darth uses, which is, sorry, asshole 104. I keep doing that.
All right, I've done it twice already, too.
Someone censor me. Someone put a thing over it in post. We'll edit that out in post.
I never edit anything, man. Everything I do is completely live. When it does get out of control, and I will sometimes move it to my Patreon channel so that we don't get demonetized or anything like that and shut down and the conversation can continue. But no, I don't edit anything at all.
Well,
has anybody in the audience, while you're thinking, Krabby, has anybody in the audience anything that they would like to ask Krabby before we move to the after party? We'll go in another few, maybe 15 minutes or so, and then we'll move to the after party. If people do want to jump in, just let me know. Put a fucking scream at me, tag me in the live chat. I'll send you a message.
Whoa, this is a cool font that you have on my name. I'm like a street werewolf. This is awesome. What font is this?
That font is Seven Swordsman BB.
Seven Swordsman font.
Yeah, go to. We'll talk about tech afterwards, man. But I've got a whole font section or font website. But anyway, stop on your fucking computer and talk to me, man. Right? Questions from the chat. We're waiting on questions from the chat. You've had a good time. Do you want to give a synopsis? Yeah, there's a question from Geo. What caused, if you're going to say that God is the causing and moving factor, what caused God?
Well, that's the thing. God is necessitated. If you want to talk about it from my perspective, we can get into this. Or I could play sort of devil's advocate for Darth.
No.
But at the end of the day...
I want to have a conversation with you.
At the end of the day, what eternality... Sorry, someone keeps calling me. At the end of the day, what eternality means is that God is the unrooted root. Is that God is the necessitated, dependent state that everything, the ether, and then the noumenal world must flow from. In the four divisions of nature, the best argument that I can give for this, let's try and do it quickly, because I don't want to...
We've got all night. We've all night.
Sorry, I'm hanging up on that. Okay. The world is noumenal. The world exists. There's many ways to say it. I think, therefore I am. Cogito, ergo sum. You understand that some state exists, and this can be said many ways. The modality of the knower is all that we really can know. If you want to doubt everything ultimately, you can. And so the modality of the knower exists, and therefore it was created in the sense that it is dependent upon something. And so right there you have two divisions of nature. You have the uncreated creator, and you have the created creation.
And you're just accepting that the creator is uncreated.
Well, it's dependent. And the idea that something is non-dependent is what the idea of atheism is, which I don't think anybody actually agrees with. Are you saying that a state of non-dependence exists?
The state of non-dependence, something that doesn't have a beginning, as in, like the Big Bang in reference to. Yeah.
It's eternal, foundational, unconditionally non-dependent.
Yeah, you're just reading off a script now, and as if, I'm better with definitions and things like that, man. I'm not going to tell any lies. I've read philosophy. I do understand these terms, but when you speak like a sentence like that, I will ask questions for breaking things down to clarify, so when I move forward, I'm not wrong. So when you're asking.
Notes. And I'm throwing them. There you go, man. That's all me now.
Good, because we've been moving into the after party. Question from Randolph. Wondercrab claims atheism doesn't exist, but it isn't physical. It exists as a concept of non-believing in deities. He would like to know how you counter that.
I'm trying to get... Where can I read this?
Thank you, Ox. If you look for Randolph Richardson, I can post it in the live chat, but you're on your phone, so you may have trouble seeing it.
Randolph in chat? Do we have Randolph here?
Yeah, Randolph's been here for a while, man.
I can't find it. Can you reread it to me?
Wondercrab claims atheism doesn't exist, but it isn't physical. It exists as a concept of non-believing in deities, and he would like to know how you would counter that. Randolph, if you want in, man, just tweet at me. Your name's way down in the list. Send me a message. I'll get you the link.
Please, Mr. Richardson, I would love to talk with you. Yes, I mean, it exists so far as conceptually you can create a category in which some person denies the eternal. But when I sort of tongue-in-cheek say that atheism does not exist, or that I do not believe in atheism, that's to say I don't believe in atheists. I don't believe that anybody is actually saying things come from nothing, or more specifically, that the state of nothing actually exists. The universe has to be eternal. There can be no such thing as nothing. That's a complete contradiction. And I was getting into the 4 divisions. I only got 2 of them, so people may be more.
We will let you have more whenever you get into the after party, man. Yeah, we're going to open it up now and let people in. We will let that be your opening statement. Stephen, I've sent you the fucking link on Discord, man. I've also sent the link out to Spartan and Randolph. If you tweeted me... Oh, there you are. Find you. And there's the link for... No, that's a fucking question. Question from Shapeshifting Monkey. Does Wondercrab believe he has received special revelation outside of the Bible? What is it, and does everyone receive it?
No, I do not claim to have received special revelation, although if you're listening, Allah, please, by the will of God, I'm waiting.
Right, well, alright. So, the link has been sent out. We are waiting for people to jump in. Randolph has that. I think, will we leave that as your closing statement then, Wondercrab?
My closing statement is check out the Crabcast, Wondercrab on YouTube. We're doing big things. We're going places.
I will pop your link in again. Copy. And anybody wants to check out Krabby, that's his channel. There is only a few videos up in it. It's not been... You've only 40 subscribers. Oh, you've a load of videos. Well, fair amount of videos. Yeah, check him out. There's one of you walking around with a cowboy hat. I don't even want to know what that's about.
Come on, that is one of my best videos.
Well, as it goes, I personally have had some fun. I'm enjoying this. It's been good fun to get my practice down and talking to people like this. I hope you've enjoyed yourself, Krabby. I also hope that this shows that, you know, anyone's welcome. You're welcome to come back again, man. You've been respectful enough, with the exception of the fucking computer, that you're open to joining an open panel, different topics that we could be talking about, get your point and opinion on it and things like that. So, yeah, you haven't overspoke me. You've been clear. You've been... yeah, I've had a nice conversation and I've appreciated meeting you. So,
well, yeah, I'm glad we could talk. I'm glad we got it out there. I'll try and be better about the computer. I'm a Zoomer. You have to understand we're designed to be on 4 different platforms at once.
I bet, give you a trick, man. Put the other fucking screen in front of you, so when you're looking at the other screen, people still see you looking at the camera.
Yeah. Hey, I am an honest man.
I have 3 screens here. I have 3 screens. I'm doing multiple things. I'm still looking directly at the camera. So,
you have more than I could ever dream of, sir.
Pardon?
You have more screens than I could ever dream of.
The 3's just was directly in front of me. There's also one to the right monitoring the stream as well, and I'm hoping to get another one for up here for the chat. Makes life easier. Makes life easier. Right, we've got the after party starting to happen. So, Stephen, I'm going to put you in the back room for 1 more second. Yeah, everybody, thank you very much for coming. Again, Krabby, thank you very much for being open to the conversation. And, yeah, everybody check out the after party. I haven't it scheduled. We're going to have a pee break and get some stuff sorted. And, yeah, we'll be back in about 5-10 minutes. So, thanks for coming again, everybody. And, as always... think for yourself, people, and a shout out to the Patreons.